Also, la
Saturn, trust one of my season possible. Coffee like home Nicolas Hayek.
I'm not going to complain with you. It was enough for Marco Nerashaj.
And yet,
Yes, I was.
one should be an apple so.
That's I from that.
Then,
Myself, my darling.
so look at what you can.
I don't think you know very much. It's all in a over call, not bad. I want to get some sipping with a much. Yes, I bounce sempre go with this. I so see now.
Yes. I guess was to okay,
Tandukazi, can you hear me? You raised your hand.
Yes, ma'am, I hear you. Your mic was muted.
Oh, my mic. So sorry about that. I looked up and I think, what the hell am I doing? Okay, thank you. Is that what you were saying, that the mic was muted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. For those that were here this morning, or this morning for the ENG 1501 lecture, please take note. For the ENG 1502 lecture, please take note that I'm doing reading skills, so I'll be doing more or less the same things with ENG 1501. Remember, this class is today because of the public holiday that we had yesterday, and I had to schedule a class in order to get this right. I'm going to switch this light on here. I don't like the switch the light at the back. Let me just see if this is better. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so you can see my face, but the light is not on. So, this morning was a bit chaotic, but now I have somehow a bit of time to spend with you, and we're going to try and get through the slides, students. So you were aware that a class was happening now, because I was a bit concerned about that. Anyway, let me start by Blau. Is Blau, are you here? Is Blau, are you here? Is Blau? Where is this? Sisipo, are you the same Sisipo of this morning?
Yes, ma'am. It's the same Sisipo.
You're still going to listen to this class again. You don't mind.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
I don't mind at all, Sisipo. Don't worry. Okay. Tandukazi, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
How was your day been? I have a bit of like 5 minutes time. I just want to know, how was your long weekend and how have your day been? I didn't have time to do it with the other class this morning. Yeah? Tandukazi, how has your day been?
It's great, ma'am.
Oh, you're one of a few people that saying it's great. People are under pressure and they've been under stress because apparently the work is just piling up and the exams are around the corner. That is why, students, I can't afford to lose any of these support classes. I take them whether I have how many students, because I can't do it again. I have to get in some of these skills before you write your June exam. And that's why I'm going to, if there's a public holiday, I reschedule for the next day and so forth and so forth, because I don't want there to be confusion. Okay, I'm not sure whether the people even know that there's a class on now. But that's the way it works. Okay, so Tandukazi, thank you. Siobhan, Michaela, Nikerk, just unmute yourself. Thank you, Tandukazi, so sweet.
Yeah.
Hi, Siobhan, how are you?
Hi, ma'am. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm good. Good. Did you have a lovely long weekend?
No, ma'am. I did not have a good weekend. My daughter was sick whole weekend.
Oh, my goodness. Is she okay now?
She's still not fine, ma'am. While you were talking, I was actually busy with her.
Oh, my sweetheart. Oh, and how old is she?
She's 4.
Oh, her mother. That's still a baba. I mean, that's a baba. That's a baby baba.
Yeah, she didn't want me to be actually in this class. She wants the mommy now. But it's fine.
Sweet. So what you try and do and just keep her on you, and then listen to the recording. But I know when they're ill or they're not feeling well, then they want their mothers around them. So just try and let her. I'm going to send the slides anyway, so don't stress too much about it, eh? Just focus on her. Okay, so listen to it, but also keep her with you. Okay,
I'll do that, ma'am. Thank you.
okay, no problem. And then Yonela Makazi. Yonela, how are you?
I'm good, ma'am, and you?
Oh, Yugnella, you sound like you're fast asleep. What's happening? You're tired.
I'm very tired, ma'am, after a long weekend. Oh, it was very busy.
You were very busy. It was a very busy weekend.
Yes, but now I have a lot of work to do. It's assignments, outside,
Yeah.
it's work.
Yeah, no, it is. It's quite hectic this time of the year, guys, and we have to be aware of that, eh? We have to be aware of that. So we just have to pace yourself. And I mean, I'm hoping that with the reading skills that you will be able to find your way ahead of difficult word, like a lot of reading that comes with it and how to deal with the reading. Because sometimes we don't actually know how to read, how to deal with reading and the difficulty of it. Okay. So I'm going to share my slides. Thank you for everyone that responded and so forth. And for those who are, I know that you guys are busy and some of you have children. So I understand the sacrifices that comes with trying to do this as well. But yeah, students, we'll try our best, eh? Let me just see Windows. You know, let me just cancel. If I share, because my slides are here. Oh, Windows. Why is it now not opening? Just give me a minute, students. I had a similar problem this morning where my slides are all here. It's opened and everything, but when I'm trying to share, this is what they call technological barriers. Share the content. So I normally go to the Windows page. There we go. And then share. Okay. There we go and share. Perfect. Okay. So again, students, my name is Natalie Lottering. I'm the academic literacy lecturer. And I think we are now on week 3 of us doing this work. Okay. And the first 2 weeks, students, I focused on communication theory. I focused on language acquisition. Then I focused on communication theory. And then I focused on communication theory, and then I focused on barriers to communication. Remember last week I spoke about barriers and I said to you there were 6 barriers. The first barrier I said was perceptual barriers, and under perceptual barriers I said it would have been your cultural background, that we all have different past experiences, that we all select different things. And then I think I also said that we all have different needs. Remember the Maslow hierarchy of needs that I spoke about? And then I said that under perception, we all have different education that comes with that. I spoke to you about language barriers. And remember, I read that very intensive letter where the student was apologizing to me for submitting her assignment late. And I read the letter and I said to you that, in fact, there's a lot of this is a language barrier because the student used a lot of unnecessarily difficult words. I said, one thing that you must remember about language is clarity, guys. Clarity. Clarity is more important to me than anything else. Okay. So we spoke about that
Guys, I am the only one who can hear Miss Natalie.
I don't think she has logged in already. I think she's waiting for the other students to log in.
Okay.
I cannot hear anything. I think she's having a problem with the connection issues or something.
Guys, did the call drop? And I was good. Hello? Did the call drop?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Fiwe, did I lose you? I didn't even realize.
We didn't think we even started the class. I thought we were just waiting for the other students because we've been quiet.
I have been sharing and talking to myself for like 10 minutes already.
It's possible because we've been muted since we haven't had anything from you.
Oh my goodness. You know what happened? I was going to go to the next slide and then I'm thinking rejoin the meeting. And I was wondering, what do you mean with rejoin the meeting? And then I realized that it dropped. So I'm going to have to, hi guys. Ooh, today is a very challenging day. I promise you.
Even this morning we had technological problems.
Hi, guys. And I am speaking like a mad person to myself.
Oh, man.
No. Can you see the slides now?
Yes, lecture information. That's
Yes. I was doing a whole recap on what we've done with communication theory and barriers to communication. I'm going to just do it very quickly again because I thought you were listening to me. The reason I just mentioned that I appreciate, I always do come theory with you because as I've said, that sender, the audience, the medium, the codes, the context, and then feedback. The reason why I do that with you is that you must apply it for everything that you're going to do in life. Okay, when you are the sender, you are the person that's going to ask that you are the person that must make sure that your message get across perfectly so that you can get positive feedback from your audience. That's what I said. So that's why I even said to you that it doesn't matter what module I teach. I always start with com theory because firstly, you need to understand what the theory is. You need to understand what communication theory is, and you need to understand that there's a process that needs to happen in order for you to get good feedback from your audience. But I said to you, with that being said, there's also the reality of barriers to communication. And I spoke to you guys about cultural, perceptual barriers. And I said under perceptual barriers, there are cultural background, there will be there will be past experiences. We all have things that we select differently. We all have Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then I explained to you that the last one was that education. So that was under perceptual barriers. Then I spoke about language barriers. Remember that letter I wrote to you that I read last week, where some of you thought, oh, wow, this person is writing, quite well. And I said to you, no, a language barrier is when you use difficult words because you feel like a sender, oh, I'm using difficult words, so my audience is going to think I'm so clever. No, the audience is going to think you are an idiot because if the purpose of you being the sender is to let the audience understand the message. They must not figure it out. You understand that. So difficult words, there are sometimes a place for it, but most times, guys, it just creates language barriers because clarity, you know what's clarity? Clarity, being clear, is what's more is more important than anything else. Okay. and so forth. So I'm just saying to you there, that would be another way of looking at it. So it was language barriers that came in. So language barriers, I said, was be difficult words. I told you about long sentences. Sentence must be 15 to 18 words. I mentioned to you that, you know, your sentence must have a clear meaning. You must avoid jargon and all of those things, you know. Punctuation you must be aware of. You must be aware of spelling mistakes and language barriers. And I also, sorry, and grammar mistakes. Then I said to you, there's physical barriers, and I said physical barriers, what affects me physically. If my door, I'm sitting in my bedroom, I'm going to switch on this light quickly. Okay, I'm in my, I'm sitting in the bedroom cum office, and I'm telling you, if this door opens here now, I'm gonna have to look at the person coming into the door, and that will be a physical barrier. I also said physical barriers would be short sentences, small words, anything that's a physical barrier to you, an untidy document, and so forth. Psychological barriers, I say, has got to do with the mind, you know, so you must be aware of that. And then finally, I said to you, physiological barriers would be the physically, you know, people maybe with disabilities, sometimes they struggle, and that can be a barrier. And as a sender, you must be aware of it. Okay. So those things, guys, are very important. You need to know the theory, but you also need to know the barriers that exist in our society. And then I mentioned about there's currently a whole nightmare on TikTok about the Zulu debate, you know. Apparently in Louisiana and in America, they're having this, they try to depict the Zulu nation in America, but guys, you have to go and look at it. It is horrendous. It is bad. It's bad. And obviously the South Africans saw that, and they, you know, the sender, who was the organizers of the, what do they call it, organizers of this event, you know, they should have done their homework, because everything that you've seen there doesn't depict what is happening, doesn't depict the Zulu culture at all. In fact, it is so atrocious. It's so bad. It's so terrible that if you see it, you will feel the same way that I felt. And so there's now a battle, because the audience is now South Africans seeing this, and they're saying to the Americans, but how dare you take our culture and make a mockery out of it? So there's a lot of back and forth, and there's now total arguments between South Africa. And now what has happened is that other countries in Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Lesotho, all these places have now also come in, their TikTokers have also come in, and they are now protecting South Africa. They're on the South African side. But again, yeah, it's the sender that sent out the wrong message, because if they only opened up a Google search, they will see what the Xhosa culture looks like. They will see what the Zulu culture looks like. What they have done there is just, for me, I'm not sure whether they did it deliberately or whether they didn't know, but I thought to myself, this is an insult to what is it, to our nation. You know, it really it's quite frightening. So it's on YouTube if you want to look at that. So the aim of this workshop today is we're going to look at reading complexities, understanding your concentration skills, and that's a very important part of reading. Okay, you need to understand there's complexities to reading and understand how the concentration skills work. We're also going to look at speed reading strategies, because if you want to be a good reader, you need to be a good speed reader. You have too much to read in order for you not to become a speed reader. And there are obviously strategies that can assist you in becoming a good speed reader. Now, reading as a higher order skill, reading is definitely a higher order skill, and how are we going to deal with it? Then the required sub-skills to be a good reader. Then we're going to look at reading strategies. We're also going to do a brief introduction to various levels of academic reading. Then we're going to use an example, what to do if you read information in a textbook. Then I'm going to look at where are we now at? We're also going to look at An example is this the same thing. Okay, so reading complexities. What do we mean with reading complexities? Complexities would be, you can also put there in complexities, you can say there difficulties. Okay, it's complex, it's difficulties. Okay, so what do we mean with difficulties? We are saying that good reading requires excellent attention. That we agree with. Concentration levels. It's just the way it is. It requires attention. It requires concentration, and especially the type of reading that you guys are doing, academic reading. That's another level of concentration that one requires. Okay, our brains are an overload and a drowning in a sea of information. That's true, guys. There's just, if I'm thinking about the fact that we have the infinite, with the growth of the infinite internet. I mean, you know what infinite means? It's never ending. It's never ending. It's infinite. It continues forever. Okay, it's never ending. Truly, I'm just going to add that there. Never ending. Never ending internet. 500 channels. 24-hour television, Netflix, and mobile phones that are little computers. True. You now receive 5 times as much information every day as a person did in 1986. And that's so true, guys. It's like, I don't know if sometimes you sit and you're thinking to yourself, how am I going to be expected to concentrate if there's just all this that's coming in to you all the time? This severely impacts our ability to concentrate, to pay attention, which is true. Okay, the millennials born post 1985. I shouldn't actually have spoken. I think most of you are millennials and Gen Z. Okay, because some of you are millennials and some of you are Gen Z, born post 1985, have an attention span of 8 seconds. That's true. It's actually quite scary, because even when people are doing their dances nowadays, it's these short dances. When I was young, we used to listen to a music video, an entire video, of 4 minutes, and we would dance to it. But nowadays everything is like little snippets, a 6-second video that you hear. I was listening to the new Bruno Mars song, where he sings about, if I want to be with you. I can't sing to save my life, guys. But the song is about, if the world was over, I just want to be with you. But what I'm finding is that even if I go onto TikTok, I only hear that part. I don't hear the entire song. So it's like we don't even want to hear the entire song, and so forth. And then there are people, I don't know if you've ever, there's this lady from Nigeria. Okay, I'm off the point now, but guys, there's a lady from Nigeria, and the name is Auntie Agnes or something like that. Now she sings a song, but she sings it in a very Nigerian accent. The way I am laughing at this, it's amazing. But I'm going off the topic because I'm so excited when I listen to what is being said. Okay, so reading complexities. Here's the reality now. Reading complexities. University students should read. Okay, I would actually say should read about 300 words per minute, in order to 300 words per minute on paper, and that is on paper. So if you get your a document like a textbook, for example, I have textbooks. I mean, we have lots of textbooks here, and so forth. And so when we look at the speed reading, there's an expectation that as a university student, you must read 300 words per minute on paper, but 200 words per minute on screen, because it is more difficult to read on screen. Strangely, it's slower. It slows you down. So speed speaking speed. Okay, speaking speed. Speaking speed is about 160 words per minute. So your speaking speed is 160 words per minute. Thinking speed is about 1,000 to 3,000 words when our minds wander, our minds not wander, our minds wander to different places, and give an average reading gives average reading lots of time to daydream, plan its menus, etc. So what I'm saying to you is, ideally, if you want to be a good reader, 300 words per minute on paper. The digital reader to reading 200 words per minute. Words a minute. I don't even know. I must actually look at what. And about 1,000 to 300,000 words a minute, because sometimes you can listen to somebody, but you can also, your mind can wander to different places. You can and so forth. So that's just information that I wanted you to know. I'm not going to use a second slide. Now, why? So if we are saying that in order for you to become a good reader, you need to have 300 words per minute as university students, because speed reading must be improved. Why must speed reading improve? There's a reason by speed reading improve. Slow readers are easily. If you are slow, it's very discouraging. Stumble over unfamiliar words. If you don't know unfamiliar words, then you have a tendency of stumbling over them, and then you start focusing on that word. And in the meantime, time is going and you feel frustrated, And also, if you are a slow reader, you're going to fail to grasp meaning of the passage, because now you're taking too much time and you need to get through 25 pages, let's say in a chapter of a textbook, 20 pages to 25 pages, you need to improve your speed, your reading speed ASAP. If texts are read in the same way, time is wasted. If you are reading a text, or a book in a certain, a textbook, time is wasted if you are a slow reader. Important points are not remembered. And I know this is the most important thing with students, is that they feel that they've just read something, but they can't understand what they have read. They can't remember what they have read. You know what I mean? So those are the things that frustrate them so much. And I know that because I sometimes also experience that frustration, if I don't get my things done in time, then there is too much non-essential information is absorbed. So the important information is not absorbed, and that can also lead to frustration. So why reading speed must be improved is because if you are a slow reader, there are problems. And if texts are read in the same way, there's time wasted, important points are not remembered, and too much non-essential, non-important information is absorbed. Now, what do we mean? Book power, knowledge, power there's power in the book. So students who read for pleasure are more likely to do better in languages. And this is unfortunately a reality. Those of you who have had time for their parents to manage to read to them when they were young, when they were 2, 3, 4 years old. So the one, I can't remember your name now, that's a 4-year-old that has a 4-year-old daughter. Now is the time for you to read with her, just sit with her for not long, but let her get used to the feel of books. You know what I mean? So that's how you develop power. So students who read for pleasure are students who read for pleasure are more likely to do better in languages. And then reading for pleasure is the most significant indicator of future success, even more so than educational level of the parents. They say that sometimes the educational level of the parent is what is going to, I just want to switch off my phone, because it's now going off. Yeah, off. So So they say there that those people, you know, normally the educational levels of the parent determines what you read. But my mother didn't finish matric. She was a factory worker. My father was a factory worker. They never read. I can't remember waking up and then our parents reading for us, for me, essentially. I had to learn how to do that. So if you didn't have that experience, guys, there are ways of developing that experience. Don't think now, yeah, but because I didn't have parents that could read to me, that now I am never going to enjoy my textbooks or a book for pleasure. You know, so one of the things that we've said, reading develops also problem solving skills. Okay, it helps you with, because now you read a lot, you know, and it develops an understanding of the cause and effect. You know, what is the cause and then what is the result of that? So problem solving skills. If you read a lot, you can solve a lot of problems. Reading also is the best way to develop comprehension. Comprehension means understanding. Okay, so to develop, I'm actually going to take out the book, the word there, comprehension, and I'm going to use the word develop understanding. Okay, and language skills, more than formal grammar teaching. It's even more than formal grammar teaching. And reading, guys, I have I'm not saying to you go and read Shakespeare or go and read a difficult book. Just reading for enjoyment is also fine. It doesn't have to be like difficult readings, things that you need to do. But for the academic world, you have to obviously know how to read well. So what do I know? One of the things about reading is that, and I know this is something that you might not have thought about, is that how do your brain make sense of nonsense? You do not have to read every word. This is what I'm saying to you. The first strategy is that whether the innatism have said that in our brains, you know, a child learns to, just like a child learns to walk, so they learn how to acquire language. Now, this also actually happens with reading, because what has been proven is that our brains can make sense of nonsense. You do not have to read every word. That's one strategy, and I'm going to show you why. How do our brains so quickly make sense of what at first glance seems like nonsense? Researchers aren't entirely sure. So researchers aren't entirely sure, but this is how it works. I can read the sentence to you without even making a mistake. You can probably read this easily despite the misspelling. You can read it easily. Isn't that so? So how do our brain make sense of nonsense? Since the sentence is readable is because our brains are able to use context to make predictions about what's to come next. So our brain is designed in such a way that we can actually make predictions in what's going to be the next word that's going to come. It's just the way it is. So as our brain deciphers each word, it also predicts which word would logically come next to form a coherent sentence. Okay, so this is how it works. Our brain is the DNA, or how we are structured, or how we acquire reading is that our brain can predict. So even if there's nonsense written, our brain can still figure it out. The brain deciphers each word. It also predicts which word would logically come next to form a coherent sentence. A coherent sentence means a logical sentence. So coherent means a logical sentence. Okay, so sentence. So you therefore do not have to read every word, as the brain predicts which word would logically come next, as the brain is designed to know this. You understand that? So now let's go further. I'm going to use another example. So if we go this, I'm going to read this one to you. That's all scrambled words. But because our brain is of such a way, I can read this and I can make sense of it. According to research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter in what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be at the right place. The rest can be a total mess and you can still read it without a problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. So again, they are saying to you here, you don't have to read every word because the brain is designed to see a few words and then you can just skip and go to the next words. Is that clear? But there's obviously a way of going about that, and that is what we're going to talk about. So the reading strategies that I'm going to focus on today, and the first few you know about: skimming and scanning and surveying. Okay, so there's skimming, and then 1.2 is scanning, and then 1.3 is surveying. I think I'm going to say rather scanning first, then skimming, and so skimming, and then surveying is similar to skimming and surveying. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to look at active reading, so not passive reading, because passive reading is quite useless. We're also going to do critical reading, because guys, critical reading, you can't just trust anything that you read. You have to look at reading in a critical way also. Then I'm going to look at vocabulary development. How do we develop our vocabulary better? Then we're going to look at effective note-taking, how to take notes effectively. And then we're going to look at comprehensive monitoring. How are we going to comprehensive is overall monitoring. How are we going to monitor what we have read that we understand in our brain? How are we going to monitor that? Because ultimately, when we read, we want to monitor that we have read and that we have understood what we have read. So you're going to have to monitor yourself. Then we are going to look at utilizing academic resources. And then we're going to look at adapting text types. You know, there are different text types, and that's depending on what you are studying. Some people studying STEM, you know, the certain subjects and so forth. So number 9 is digital reading strategies. So what we do, we also have to focus on our health and focus when we read, because especially academic books, academic textbooks, articles that you have to read when you do assignments. I mean, there's so much reading involved. So you need to look at a little bit on your health. I'm not going to go into detail with these things, but just make you aware that your health and your focus is very important. Number 11 is going to be time management, how to avoid procrastination. And then number 12 would be structured approaches. And number 13 is going to be pre and post reading practices. So these are the things that we are going to focus on. So this is not going to be one lecture. Obviously, it's a lot of work that needs to be covered. So I'm going to do it in 2 lectures. So it's almost like I'm doing part of it today, and then I'll do another part of it next week. Okay. I think it's just too much for one lesson. So the first thing that I said I was going to talk about was scanning, skimming, and surveying. So what do we know about scanning? Scanning is all about pre-planning. Okay. What do we mean with pre-planning? Prior knowledge. What do we mean with pre-planning? When I say to you pre-planning, it means that before I read anything, guys, students, I need to plan. You need to pre-plan your speed reading techniques. Remember, speed reading is all about what makes you an effective university student is if you can read 300 words on paper and 200 words digitally. That means that you are a good academic. How do you go about it? So the first thing, I think with the other class I used this morning, I said that if you scan, you're going to use, for example, what do they call it? When you scan, you look for very specific information. So you are going to firstly, I think I used the other, but I'm going to use another chapter today with you guys, because I'm not going to use the same one. So the one I used this morning for my students was an oral presentation. You understand that? So the one that I'm going to do today is going to be maybe on, let me see now. I don't want to take a chapter that's going to be too long. Okay, let's look at meetings. Okay, so let's say the chapter that I'm going to focus on would be meetings. That's what I'm going to teach you, the skill of knowing how to meet. So now I'm going to see, okay, meetings is 132, page 132. So I'm going to go to page 132. Is that clear? So I'm going to start out with 100, and actually it's on page 131. Okay, so now I'm going to firstly, before I start, then I realize, this chapter starts at 132 and it ends at 157. So we have how many pages are we dealing with? 157 minus 132 is how many pages, guys? Is that 35? Okay, so I'm just checking my, can somebody quickly, I've just unlocked my phone now because there's no, 132, what is it, 157 minus 132. So how much is that, guys? It's 25 pages. Okay, so I'm going to say to myself, okay, the meetings chapter is already going to be 35 pages. Okay, so it's 25 pages. So I'm going to go to the meeting. Can you see here? I have a textbook that I'm using. So I'm going to go through meetings and I'm going to say, ooh, okay, I have, if I calculate here, I have 25 pages that I'm going to have to get through. Okay, that's quite a number of pages. And then you're going to say to yourself, okay, now I need to scan. So before you even start reading on this book, before you even start reading, what you are going to do is that you are going to, you are now going to then say to yourself, I'm going to quickly scan if I see any percentages here. So you're going to go through all this. You're going to read through the meetings chapter, You're going to read, and then maybe you'll find, oh, okay, the nature of the legal meeting, the business meeting, and so forth. So you are going to just scan through the pages. You see, here on page 137, there is already a picture that shows you. So I'm going to scan through the picture because there's a picture there. So scanning is when you select information, you to scan. So it's almost like a rough summary. So scanning is the first one. The purpose is to find specific facts. Then the method is to not read entire text. You just allow eyes to run through text until a fact, a number, a name catches your eye. So if I'm going to go through this meeting thing, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, oh, I have 25 pages. And then I'm going to see, yeah, I see a word Skype. Oh, okay. So Skype is a big word there that comes with meetings, and I'm going to go through it. Do I see? Oh, yes, I see maybe a Skype. There's a website there that can be used, and I will underline that. There's also a Zoom website. So you just scan through. You go through with your finger. You know, you just look through the whole thing. And then you say to yourself, do I see any information that maybe I know about? You understand that? Because also, students, you must remember, you don't come into the classroom with nothing. You have prior knowledge. You have attended meetings. So you don't come into the lecture hall or to this class not understanding what reading is all about. You have heard about reading. So scanning is just allow the eye to run through text until fact, a number, a name catches your eye. You then stop and check information, and then if relevant, continue scanning, Finger may be used as a guide, and then scanning is the fastest type of reading, ideal for research or answering questions. Now you're going to say to yourself, here's an example. This is scanning. On what date did the total lockdown start? It's easy questions. 27th of March 2020. So you can say to yourself, maybe in the article you've read, then there was this information where it says that the lockdown started on the 27th of March 2020. The next question is, what industry, according to the article, suffered a 4% contraction? The grocery industry. The next question would be, what is the value of formal South African retail market? It's about 595 billion. And then number 4, how many competitors does Pick n Pay have? And then they would say 4. So scanning is just to get a basic idea of the entire text. You understand that? So already with this one, and I'm doing it with you guys, I didn't do it beforehand because I want you to see how I go through when I start reading. You understand that? So already I've scanned through the first page of my meeting. I see here, oh, there's an example of Skype. So I'm gonna like try and open a page here, and then I'm gonna just do a new slide, and then I'm gonna now say, oh, this is what I've seen. That, you know, if you want to use meetings, you can Skype. I've seen there, caught my eye. I also saw the word Zoom that one can use there. It caught my eye because it has brackets in it, so which means that it just catches your eye. So I'm going to go down. Oh, okay, I don't see anything that really taken by both parties. Then I'm going through this. There you see, I'm using my finger. You know what I mean? I'm using my finger. Okay. So, okay, I just want to check if you are all following me, because now I feel like I'm talking on my own. Are you following me, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to go back to my slides again. I just want to show you a practical example of what I mean. So now I saw Skype, I saw Zoom. I'm looking for other things there. Oh, I'm looking at formalities. Then I go down and I see some words are written in font, in a different font. It is in italics. You know, I saw the word convened. Okay, so I'm writing that down because it's not like you haven't seen these words before. I also see a word, a formal notice. So it's just words that stands out to you. You know what I mean? Convened, and then formal notice. So you can open formal notice. Guys, I'm telling you, I work on here's my phone. There's a notepad on my phone, and I use this normally to take notes, especially if I'm working on my laptop and I have my textbook open, and then I will take notes as I'm going around. You understand that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that seems to be the case. And so formal notice, and then nature of a legal meeting. So that is fine. So I'm going to go. So there are even things written. Can you see there are things written. There are now suddenly tables there that you can also see, and you can just scan and see what are there anything that stands out to you. But as you are doing this, guys, as you are scanning, you are actually also seeing what is in this 25 pages that I'm going to have to go through. You're looking through it. Because what I'm saying to you is, guys, you can't just start a meeting. You can't just start reading from the beginning. You first have to scan the text. Firstly, get to know in your head that I am dealing with 25 pages for this chapter. Then you're going to go into your head that I need to at least know what I am going to read about. So let me go through this and see what I can find here. You understand that? Yeah, I see also that I can stand is a table of seating. you know, that I've also seen here. Then I go through and so forth, and you just glance through it if you can see any information. Is that clear? So that is why what scanning is all about. Because if you scan immediately, you will then be able to see, okay, this is what I require in a meeting. And there we go. Yeah, and so forth. Now, so scanning is what is required there, and so forth. So either Skype, Zoom, and then formal notice, table of seating, and so forth. So that's already giving you an information or insight in what you are going to read. Now you are going to now have to look at previewing or skimming. And this is now the important part also of reading anything, is how to preview and how to skim. And so how do we preview and how do we skim? One way to prepare for reading is previewing. We have to prepare for reading, guys. You don't just start reading. Preparation is important. That is why I'm saying to you, you know, you have prior knowledge already about a lot of things. What do I know about this chapter or difficult chapter that I'm going to read now? So pre means before you even start anything. You're previewing, you are skimming. So one way to prepare for reading is previewing. This is needed when you start reading a new section. Okay, so it activates prior knowledge. Okay, so because that's what you do, you preview, so it activates prior knowledge, which assists in focusing on the new reading. It also assists with understanding, as your prior knowledge on the topic has been activated. You understand that. And how do we activate the prior knowledge? Okay, one way to prepare reading is previewing. This is needed when you start reading a new section. It assists with focus to overcome the attention problem. And then it also allows you to quickly grasp main point ideas by reading the titles, by reading abstracts, by reading introductions, by reading conclusions and topic sentences, etc. So what I am saying to you is that you have this whole chapter has 25. The chapter has 20. The meetings have 25 pages. Is that clear? We've determined that already. I have done a bit of scanning. So I now know that, oh, meetings can take place on Skype. It can take place on Google. It can take place on Skype and take place via Zoom. I also made a few notes here. I said meeting needs to be convened because I've heard this. I have heard about there must be some sort of formal notice, and I've also seen here when I scanned that there's a table of seating. So I know that information already. Is that clear? Okay. So what else do we do? Okay. So what else do we do? So here we go. So now we're going to look at skimming and how are we going to preview? How are we going to skim? We're going to look, guys. So if I open this book now under meetings, I can already see my next section is going to be under, okay, maybe I must just open a new slide and then that will be skimming. Okay. And surveying. It's almost like the same thing. So I don't like doing it separately. It's a survey. You skim and you survey the entire text. Is that clear? So I just want to do this in bold, get it in the middle. And so now I am going to do the most important part and I'm going to skim the text. Is that clear? So am I going to skim the text? I'm going to see what the headings are. Okay, so meetings, there's an objective to meetings, you know. So firstly, what I have is that I'm going to have skimming. So my topic is meetings, okay. So what am I going to do? Backspace. My topic is going to be, maybe I must just put the meetings here. Meetings, okay. Meetings. Obviously, this is not going to take you so long as I'm trying to do it because I'm trying to teach you a way of getting through work. So the first thing that you are going to look at is what are the headings. So your first thing that you're going to see in this chapter is going to be your objectives. So here's the first. So here are objectives. If I look at that, there's objectives. Is that clear? You can even say to yourself, oh, I'm dealing here by scanning. Sorry, by scanning. You can also say to yourself, I'm dealing now with, with 25 pages. So that will fall 25 pages. Okay, so I'm dealing with that now. So when I go to the actual skimming and surveying, the first thing is that I'm going to focus, there's going to be objectives. So I just look at the headings and I'm saying to myself, the first heading that I see here is 1.1. I said that, oh, the first thing I need to look at is the definition of a meeting. And you will see this as a heading. You understand that? So you're just going to say, okay, what I'm going to do now is that there's a definition to a meeting and I need to focus on that. Is that clear? Okay. So number 2, 7.2. So there's obviously going to be things that's going to fall under the definition of meetings, but you only want to know what's the definition of a meeting. So 1.2, the next big heading that I'm going to look at is going to be the types of meetings. Is that clear? Okay. So now what you are doing is that because you are doing the headings, you are already finding out what this chapter is going to be about before you've even, it's pre-planning, guys. It's skimming and surveying and scanning. It's pre-planning before you actually start. Then the next one is going to be types of meetings, and they mentioned there. Then they talk about 1.3. I see another heading there. Then they're talking about types of committees. Okay, so there's another one that I have now written down. Then 1.4 is going to be about important terms used in meetings. Important terms used in meetings. Okay, so now I need to make sure what terms am I going to use in meetings. You understand that? So if we go to the next one, so there's going to be a terminology that's going to be used. Then the next one is going to be another heading. 1.5 is now going to talk about the role of the chairperson. The role of the chairperson in a meeting. Okay. So, and other office bearers and other office bearers. Okay, then I'm going to look at, then they tell me that, and then I go further. Then I'm going to look at the roles of then we're going to look at meeting documentation. That's going to be your 1.6, sorry, 1.6 is now participation in meetings, or let's leave that. We're going to look at meeting documentation. Okay, then we are going to look at, let's go further. Then they give me all the meeting documentation that is required. So by the time I am done, with the skimming and surveying, I need to say to myself, these are the most important points I have to deal with now. I need to know the definition of a meeting. Okay, because you've written this down. Guys, you can write these headings on a page or whatever. I don't care where you do it. But it's important that you skim the entire 25 pages because you, by doing that, you're activating prior knowledge. You are activating scanning, skimming, and surveying in meetings. So you need to know what's the objectives. You need to know the definition of a meeting. You need to know what they are different. What is it? How can the meeting be defined? I mean, you guys already know what is a definition of a meeting. You know that a definition of a meeting is when people come together, you know, and they have certain things that they have to discuss. It doesn't, but you know, you've been in meetings. Do you also know that there are different types of meetings? You have heard of annual general meetings, AGMs. You understand? You have heard of of monthly meetings or general meetings. You have heard maybe of the word a special meeting. So maybe you have heard types of meetings. You might not remember it perfectly, but you know that there are different types of meetings, okay? You also know that there are different types of committees. You've heard of an executive committee. You know, you've heard of the word financial committee. You've also know that sometimes in meeting, there are terms that they use that's very specific to meetings, like, for example, ad hoc or convened. You know what I mean? There are words there. You know the role of the chairperson, that there's roles. If there's a meeting, there are different roles. This chairperson, you know that what does chairperson look like? You've been in meetings, whether it was a church meeting, whether it was your school meeting that you had to go for your child, whether it is a sports meeting that you had to attend. You know that there's a chairperson that's going to speak. You understand? And there's a role of the chairperson and others office bearers. What could other office bearers be? It could be the secretary. It could be the financial officer. It could be the audit team, though that is what. And then you also know that if you have a meeting, there must be meeting documentation. So there must be a notice of a meeting. There must be an agenda. There must be minutes of a meeting. That is what I am saying to you. So by the time that you go into the details, actually start reading this chapter, you already have a very good idea of what this chapter is going to be about. Do you understand what I mean, students? So if I have to now and so I'm going to say to myself, okay, in this chapter, I'm not going to look at my screen because I'm trying to remember now. Hey, so please, if I don't do it perfectly, don't bite me. Don't bite my head off. Okay. So the first thing is I'm going to look at the definition. So you're going to say it in your head. Oh, in order for this chapter, I need to know the definition of a meeting. Okay, somewhere along the line, I also need to know the types of meetings. What types of meetings do we have? Okay, I need to also know the types of committees. I need to also know the role of the chairperson. So you try to remember those headings, because that is what the entire chapter is going to be about. And that will, so by the time, and this, students, this will take like 30 minutes for you to do pre-reading stuff that you have to do. You know what I mean? Say 30 minutes to an hour. But now you're not going to feel overwhelmed with all the information that's in that reading section. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you there? Okay, so far. So where are we now? If I go back, students, if you get what I'm saying, just put the thumbs up so that I can see whether I'm going in the right direction. Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, Tandokazi. Yes. Fiwe, if you have any questions, please stop me so that I can let you know. Okay, someone has put on their video camera. Nomtle, I see a shadow. I think it's it's the beret that you have on. So Nomtle. So anyone else there? Siobhan, do you understand what I'm talking about there?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you get now that you can't just start a chapter or an article or anything that requires a lot of information? There are pre-planning that comes with it. You understand that? And can you remember maybe one of the things that we needed to pre-plan was the number of, I always look at the number of words, for example. Sorry, the number of pages. In this case, for the meeting, it would have been 25 minutes. You understand that? Then I said to myself, okay, before I start this, let me just quickly scan. If I can't see like basic information, maybe a percentage or maybe a picture, and then I start just writing down things that I see. Then I go into scanning and skimming and surveying, and I say to myself, okay, in order for me to get this right, how am I going to skim? Sorry, I'm going to look at the headings, the most important headings, and I'm going to write that down. Additionally, students, I can also look at the first paragraph, and I can also look at the final paragraph. So the first paragraph in this book will, for example, be on page 131. Okay, so what would be the first paragraph? It says here, since ancient times, this is the first paragraph I'm reading, communities have met face to face to exchange information or to discuss and decide on important issues. So this is the first paragraph that I'm reading. Before the advent of writing and later printing, participants relied on critical listening skills to understand and remember the issues discussed and agreed upon. In sub-Saharan African society, meetings, it's called indabas or imbizos, are traditionally held by communities to discuss common key issues so that consensus is reached, both regarding appropriately and inclusively. So we have seen this. You've seen an imbizo or an ndaba. You've experienced that. So that's the first paragraph. So now the last paragraph, the first paragraph was on page 131. The last paragraph is on page 157, 156. So I'm going to read the summary. All formal meetings require 3 primary documents: a notice, an agenda, and minutes. The purpose of the notice is to ensure that all persons entitled to share in the decision-making process are given the opportunity to do so. The notice consists of a number of important elements, okay? So here you read the first paragraph and the final paragraph. And so that is how you actually acquire the knowledge, guys. It's a very, sometimes people, because people find reading so difficult and especially to remember, this is a method that you can follow in order for you to read with comprehension, read with understanding, because you do not want to tackle a difficult chapter if you don't know what you are dealing with. That is the reality. And so there are many things that we can do to get this thing done properly. So what I'm going to do with you, I want you to write down this for me. I've done it with the other class. So I want you to, let me just see. So here's another example of, for example, skills, reading skills. You have been given an assignment on the chemical effect of dopamine on the brain. Skim the article to see if it is worth for the assignment. So you have been given an assignment, and your assignment is about the effects of the chemical effects of dopamine on the brain. So you must now skim the article. You know, let's say the article that you are given is a 15-page article. So you have to skim the article to see if it's worth for the assignment. Now, in that, you're going to have 3 words: chemical, brain, and dopamine, because that's in your heading. Now, the skill is to preview, skimming for very general overview. That is what I'm doing there now. So you're going to look through the article that you have been given, and you are going to skim, you're going to preview to see whether you can use information in this article that will help you with the assignment topic. You understand that? So here we have how to activate prior knowledge. What do you do? What do you know about the main words in the text? What do you know about chemical? What do you know about the brain? And what do you know about dopamine? Some of you might not know what's dopamine. And dopamine, you can just go to Google and you will figure it out. Dopamine is those happy hormones that you have in your brain. And then that is how you are going to do it. So the reading skills that I'm saying to you is like, read the titles, the headings, okay? Read the objectives, read the introductions and the conclusions. And then if you have time, read topic sentences. So that will be the first sentence of every paragraph. But that you can also do afterwards. Is that clear? You need to use this previewing or reviewing before exams. So this is a very important part there. And here's the activity that I want you to do for me. I want you to read a chapter in one of your textbooks, right? And then I want you to apply scanning, skimming, and prior knowledge to the chapter that you have read. So also, so that can you write that down for me quickly for next week? Okay, because you are going to look at any book. Some of you are studying not just 502 ENG 150, sorry, 1501. Then you can use a textbook that you are currently using. If you are using a textbook for ENG 1501, you can use that again, no problem. It's not an issue at all. Or you can use any other textbook that you have. But if you can, I'm not sure, guys, do you have a textbook for ENG 1501? Do you have a textbook for it? Can anyone respond? Do you have a textbook for it? Any textbook that you are using? Because, I mean, you guys are doing poems and those things, eh? Siobhan, do you know? If you don't know, it's fine. I mean, I don't know because I don't have access to your MyUnisa. So I don't know. My role is just to teach you skills. You understand that? So I'm not sure what. I know you're doing poems. I think you did poems, an assignment on poetry and so forth. But do you have a textbook that you use?
No, ma'am, we don't have a textbook. We use study guides.
You do study guides, okay? Yes. So you can use your study guide and then you can even look at the chapter, of the headings, maybe for all the things that's written in the study guides in terms of poetry, in terms of, you know what I mean, because obviously they will have to give you information on poems. Am I not correct? Anganati?
Yes, you're correct, ma'am.
Yes, so you can use that. Or you can use one of your other textbooks. Anganati, what are you studying? Are you doing BA General? Anganati?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you studying? What are you studying? Do you know? What are you registered for? Is it BA? Come again?
Bachelor of Education, ma'am.
Oh, you're doing education. Okay, wonderful. But I mean, this is how you're going to teach your students one day. Isn't that so? This is I'm teaching you this, and this is what you are going to apply now in the next 4 years. But this is how you're going to teach your students one day how to apply reading skills if you're going to be an English teacher. Do you understand that? So you're doing Bachelor of Education. Tandokazi, what are you doing? What are you registered for?
Bachelor of Education, ma'am.
Oh, so I've got a lot of education people here. Yunela? Yunela? Siobhan, what are you registered for?
A BA General degree, ma'am.
Okay, so you BA General degree. And then what else is there? Fiwe?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you registered for?
I'm doing BA, ma'am, General.
Are you also BA General? And Blau, what are you registered for?
Bachelor of Arts, ma'am. Bachelor of Arts, ma'am.
Well, these classes you have to have, what do they call it? You have to never ever, sometimes it can be very frustrating to teach students like this. I always say to you, I love face-to-face classes, but this is the best that I can do for the moment, trying to get things settled. But yes, students, these are the things that you are going to apply, and then I'll ask you next week whether you have managed to so I just want you to scan the article. Where's that thing again now? Let me go back to, so read a chapter in one of your textbooks or your MyUnisa, and then I want you to apply scanning, skimming, and prior knowledge to the chapter that you have read. And that's all I want from you guys. Is that okay? I'm not going to go any further than this because I feel that sometimes it's a bit too much to cope with. So I'm going to stop the lecture. I will continue next week with reading again, but we're going back to is it next week a public holiday again? Is it next week a public holiday? No, it's not. No, the 29th, 28th is the Monday. No, the 20, no, we have public, oh my goodness. Guys, the 28th, the Monday, no, the 27th is a public, yeah, the Monday is a public holiday again. Am I correct? So I'm most probably going to see you again the 29th. Let me just go and see. Yeah, I'm most probably going to see you Tuesday, the 29th. But I'm also going to remind people, I'm going to ask Avron to remind you students about the changes. Unfortunately, April with all the holidays is really creating havoc with our timetable because I can't see you. I mean, imagine if I've lost this Monday. Now, yesterday I've lost you, and I would have lost you for next Monday, and that I can't have you missing so many classes. So students, so far, I just want you to indicate to me, all of you, if you are okay with where we are at now, or if you're still a bit confused. Okay, in terms of reading, just give me a hands up or hands down. I need to assess where I am at. Okay, anyone? Yes, are you okay, Fiwe? You can unmute yourself because you just raised your hand. Are you fine, eh? So you understand now that when it comes to reading, Fiwe, it's important that you must first look at the number of pages that you have to look at in the chapter. You also have to make sure that you scan for certain information, very quick information, and then you have to skim and survey. And how do you skim and survey? You write down all the headings of what that's in the entire chapter, because that will give you an overall idea because that goes into your head, and then it will be easier to deal with that chapter. Blau, are you fine with this so far? You can just say yay or nay.
Yes, ma'am, I'm fine.
Are you fine? Okay. Siobhan, how are you doing?
I'm fine, ma'am.
How is the daughter being good? How is she coping? How's she feeling?
She's sleeping, ma'am.
Oh, she's sleeping. Oh, she's 4 years old. Okay. Oh, sweet. I hope she gets better soon, hey?
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay. Tandukazi, how do you feel? Are you all right so far with reading?
Yes, ma'am, I'm good.
Are you good? Okay. Anganati, are you okay?
So far, so good, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yonela, you also good, hey? Are you good on Yonela? Yonela?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Guys, this might, and I'm telling you, these skills that I'm teaching you is applicable to every class that you're going to have, with whether you're studying education, BA General, whether you're doing a degree in law. It's applicable to everything that you are going to do one day. Because I know, as a person that reads a lot, if I don't do this particular method, there are other methods that we're going to talk about next week as well. But if I'm not familiar with these methods, it means that I'm going to struggle to understand the extreme reading expectations. You know, there's a lot of reading expectations, and you must be able to deal with that. It's your responsibility as a student of UNISA. So please, for future reference, for these are things that you're going to apply in all your classes. Okay, I'm going to leave you now, students. I'm going to say bye-bye, and I hope you have a wonderful week further. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am.